So Scott, as we come into March, what is one desire that's on your heart?
Another Tar Heel victory.
Oh, please.
Seriously.
Let's talk about this.
Yes, we must. So hey everybody, I'm Scott Vermillion, this is Jeremy Williford, and today we're talking about desire and fulfillment. And as we continue to go through the series, Who's Taming Whom, we're trying to look at our emotions and trying to figure out, do our emotions tame us or do we tame our emotions? So this is kind of a tricky one. Tell me some of the thoughts that you've been having about desire and fulfillment and how that plays out.
Well, it was perfect this week because earlier this week I spent 4 days in Las Vegas at a sales conference. So I was truly around some of the elements that we were speaking of in class. And so it worked out well. But as we look at desire, one of the things we talked about in class today was, this constant battle that's going on for our hearts and our minds and our souls. Yeah. And in Ephesians 6, it talks about this battle. And so we laid it out that there are going to be desires that are put on our hearts, and we can go one way or the other way with them. And so we just have to be cognizant of that. And so there's some great stories in the Bible that really help guide our path and what we could do to fend off that desire whenever they're evil, and speak into it whenever they're good desires of our heart.
Yeah, when I encounter desire, it's almost like it's like a hand that grips me, right? It's sort of like won't let go. And I think you're right. It's one of the more powerful ones that kind of seeks to take over. And it's almost like once you have that thought, it's almost hard not to go to fulfillment, whether that be sexual desire, whether that be material desire, or whether it be sort of just desire in career or just desire for good food, whatever it is, the desire just sort of like holds on until it gets satisfied.
It definitely grips you.
So tell me, what are some help that we can do to begin to tame that desire?
Well, the good thing is, Jesus told us that the desire was coming. In fact, after he spends 40 days of fasting, he's instantly tempted. In the temptations that he faces are the exact same temptations we face today. So as we look at that, we have to kind of scope through knowing that it's going to be there, and then be proactive about how to defend against it. And so we looked at the story of David and Bathsheba this week, which was a fantastic illustration of having all the stuff we really need in life. David had everything he needed, but that desire, that grip was on him. And what happened to him once that grip got there. So we talked about 3 ways that we can kind of combat that situation. And the first way is just knowing where you're at. Look at David. David was supposed to be off at war, but all of a sudden, he's on the rooftop. He's not where he's supposed to be. Isn't that the sense with us most of the time, that if we get tempted, it is because we're in a place that we shouldn't be, or a temptation area? Hypothetically speaking. Of course, it's not me.
It's never happened to you.
I'm just saying,
ever.
It's out there.
It's out there. You've heard.
People tell me.
Yes.
So then the second thing we talked about was being proactive with our faith and our walk. Fast from things. True, in Scripture, it talks about fasting, and Jesus fasted for those 40 days. The idea, though, it doesn't have to be food. It could be whatever's gripping our hearts. If you are wrapped your mind around buying something specific, it's so easy. Instant gratification, just one click away. On many different things.
That's right.
So my point is, let's fast from those things. Be conscious of where you're at and know how to fast it. And then the third thing that was important was, looking back, after we read the story of David and Bathsheba, you see all the mistakes he made. But he could have done a pretty good job of thinking through what that first step meant. And as we think through those things that grip us, what does that lead to? If I do get this, for example, if I do get this promotion that I want, where am I going to be the next day? I feel like it's December 26th. Just the day after Christmas. You just don't feel any, So really play these things out. What happens on the good side? What happens on the bad side? And really think about that domino.
Yeah, that's really helpful. The fact of making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes we get bored and feel like the grass is greener somewhere else, so we're going to get out of our lane, and that's never good. And then fasting is tough, but I hear what you're saying, that it's so helpful to say no to things intentionally, and to build practice so that when time comes and the desire really hits, to say, I know how to say no.
Yes. And delayed really gratification.
Yeah.
I will wait. Unfulfillment. Just this idea that it's okay not to be fulfilled. It's okay not to be on that mountaintop.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to be in the valleys because the Lord is with you in those places.
Even boredom. You know,
even boredom.
It's sometimes hard to be faithful in the boredom times, right? And so we push ourselves to get some sort of elixir that will charge us up.
Oh, absolutely. And that's probably what David was doing, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's bored.
Yeah.
And he happens to be the only one that can see into everybody's business.
Yes.
But now that's
right.
That's all of us. We could all see into other people's business.
That's right.
So that boredom, and how do we combat that and know that it's really there, that intentional feeling? And so it's something, if we're intentional about, we have a better chance to fight those desires of our heart.
Yeah. Well, that's a good word. Guys, tell us what you're learning about desire and your need to fulfill it, and to see if try some of these things. You know, talk to each other, talk to us, let us know how it's going, because we want this to be practical. We don't want to just be chatting. We want this to intersect with your life. So we'd love to know how this is helping you combat desire and fulfillment in all the bad ways. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if David had a couple guys like us to sit on the couch with,
that's right.
He might not have gone after Bathsheba. He would have came
said,
down
no
and
way.
Like, hey, could you go find out her name? No, we can't.
No,
she should be here.
No, that's it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good week, guys.